Hey guys, this is Brian from A Hero's Journey podcast. I want to thank our sponsors, JPS Computers, S&P Inc., and Rock Rage Radio listeners out there. As they say, we are everywhere. This is part 2. We had to divide this up into 2 parts with Frank Demaggio, Valerie Demaggio, and Rob Diavolo. There we go. I got it right. So let's get rolling on part 2. Here we go.
Take the light in the winter, take it all in, see the gold in the sadness, believe my friend. Take the light in the darkness, just take it all in, embrace the love in the madness, take it all in.
So I want to get into like there's this that you saw where the aliens they had to sit down and they talked about the whole alien finding aliens and blah blah blah, which leads into you having what was it Storm
Area 51.
Exactly, Storm Area 51, which that was a meme or a video that went
Started
viral?
as a meme.
Okay, and what was it? What was it? It was a meme that was what?
Let's storm the gates of Area 50. He put an event up, this kid in Bakersfield, California.
Okay.
I'm sure you've been there at some point.
I've played Bakersfield. Yeah,
So-
the Crystal Palace.
Yeah. So he put a meme up. He was high or drunk one night and put up a meme saying that we should all storm the gates of Area 51 and make them show us them aliens.
Right?
Because he had just
Posted a fake event,
Okay.
and 3.6 million people responded to it.
Wow.
So then he was contacted by some other kid out in Arkansas that said, let's do a rave out there in the middle of the desert, and they came in, and that's kind of how I got involved when all their plans fell apart and they needed help.
Hey, you know what? You have the TMZ, right? Let's show that. I want to show, what went on here.
I get this plan.
There we go. Sounds good.
11 days to go. The organizer of the event, the landowner out there in Rachel, Nevada, didn't provide the infrastructure that she had agreed upon. We had no evidence of anything being done. There's a lot of people coming out there, guys. We don't want a Firefest 2.0. Matty has just been the face of this all along, and he can't in good conscience send people 180 miles into the desert and have them and not have water, or if they break down, there's nobody to come and get them. There's no cell phone service. So after asking for a final, after asking for a final tally on what was in place, we got 0 answers. So we pulled out. It was time to pull the plug.
With 9 days to the festival, it's like I can't safely send my friends and family out here and tell them that it's going to be a fun, safe event. So I had to back out.
So we moved it to Las Vegas, where it's safe and secure.
But Las Vegas is where you're going to storm Area 51.
Now there's no storming Area 51.
Do you think they're going to be
Guys, there was never going to be a storming anything that the government doesn't want you to storm. This turned into a music festival instead of forcing ourselves on hangars that don't exist. Even if you crossed over the fence in Area 51, you got another 40 miles before you even see a building.
So that's not what it is now. I hear what you're saying, Frank, that it's not that now. But you understand that when you got 2 million people interested in this on Facebook, that's why they were interested. This was about aliens and getting answers,
and
right?
and seeing
finding
what's
the
there,
truth,
right?
Yeah, but we were actually told strictly that not to do that.
Yeah, that's true.
Wait, no. I want to know who you said you were told. Who told you not to do that?
FBI agent from the Sacramento office. It was a little spooky. Actually, multiple of them.
So what'd they say? Tell us about the conversation. What'd they say?
That's crazy.
It actually wasn't that bad. They were just kind of making sure that I'm not making pipe bombs in my living room and not actually planning on storming the freaking base.
You know what, guys, I can read this now. You guys talked to a lawyer, and the lawyer said, you guys are crazy if you do this, because it's going to be on you if there are people who come at your behest and then go crazy.
You saw Billy McFarland sitting from Firefest sitting in prison.
Well, because you're a lawyer, I know you would say that, Barry. But
That's not his name.
It's
It's not his name? You called him by the wrong name? Bro!
Other than protecting us in
Why they're
the aftermath, We haven't needed to seek legal counsel on anything, but we did do that based on the fact that if we can't be comfortable with our own friends and family coming out there, why would we want a bunch of strangers to come out there?
That's wow. That's crazy. You called him by the wrong name.
I got 2 free T-shirts. The whole crew laughed their asses off because I called them by the wrong name. Live on TMZ.
Yeah, TMZ.
You saw how hard they were laughing. It was a complete accident. I didn't mean to do that, but they thought I did because there's a Barry Levin.
Oh, okay.
And
thanks, Jason. Thank you for running that TMZ. I appreciate it, Jason.
Thanks for
no problem.
Thanks for the PTSD.
No, the FBI was really involved. Like the FBI went to Maddie's house. We were actually at the downtown Las Vegas Event Center, and the FBI called from we were out. We were in a meeting. They were outside, and they called Bud Pico on his cell phone.
He's the guy that runs downtown Las Vegas.
He ran it at that point, and so they called his cell phone, and he picks up, and he looks, he's like, FBI.
Wow.
And he's like, they want to know what you guys are doing in here with us. They wanted to know what we were doing, and then we ended up having a secret agent come into the house and everything. It was crazy. You'll never convince me that was not an agent. You'll never convince me.
So it was a success because I was there. I went to it. I couldn't find you. I was texting you. I couldn't find you anywhere. But there was 12,000 people that actually showed up to the event with 9 days to go. Right after TMZ, you guys crushed it. But it was a much safer event. You could walk. You could park and walk to it.
It was an event. It wasn't a let's storm Area 51.
Which is silly.
People dressed in green. They put tinfoil hats on. They brought blow up aliens and glow in the dark stuff.
A couple people.
It became something really cool. You saw people on TV that went out to the desert.
I saw some of that. I saw a documentary.
You saw them at both
Yeah.
places. They came back to ours because out there in the desert, it was just a.
There was some garage bands playing out in the dirt,
busting the dust.
I saw a girl on piano and singing.
It was embarrassing. That was what they wanted to do.
There was more cameras and more press out there.
The media
they were looking for a disaster. That's why they wanted to see it go down.
They thought, well, we could get 10,000 people, and I'm like, the government is telling you guys, don't do this.
State of emergency. You could not get an event insurance if you wanted it. It's a state of emergency. They gave you an out, you should have taken it.
Right.
But no, they all sold some dollar signs there, and they were, everybody wanted, all these producers wanted to see, a fire fest, and ultimately we wanted to move and make sure we had safety.
As a promoter,
right?
If you can't get certain questions answered from the people that are hiring you, the best thing to do is walk away. You might go, oh man, I had a great opportunity. It's not an opportunity. They haven't given you an opportunity yet. They're asking you to build a city to house 10,000 people, and Vegas can do that.
Yeah,
but
Vegas you can go into Vegas. That can happen. You can't.
No. No water, no food,
security, bathrooms,
gas,
food.
There was we called an ambulance
generators.
Yeah. We called an ambulance company, and they said, we can handle, a heart attack and a broken foot. If we had to get a third ambulance out there, it'll take them 6 hours to get there.
Wow.
That is the recipe for disaster, because after being, on stage enough and being at enough venues, that if there's one piece of glass on a parking lot the size of a football field, somebody will take their shoes off and step on it. Mm-hmm. It just happens. It's the way it goes. It's the law of averages.
Well, 4 people, I think it was 4 or 5 people ended up going to the hospital from...
No, they hit a cow.
They hit a cow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, some of them did, yeah.
Now imagine a few hundred people apparently showed up. She said 2,500, 3,000 over a 3-day period. But imagine if 50,000 would have showed up. What kind of... That's what the news was there for. To see this huge migration. Huge migration of people and no infrastructure and if something goes bad. So,
okay. But think about this. There was Woodstock back in the day. Yeah. And, they didn't have sound systems big enough to play to the amount of people that actually showed up. All the food that was, all the food that was having to be brought in by the town.
Supposed to be 50,000 people.
Yeah.
270,000 showed up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
and this community of people, which, by the way, I noticed when you watch the documentaries, there aren't, back then, there weren't, they were all like this guy, like all lean.
I was about to say there was some terrorist like.
No. I'm saying not that. I'm saying the way, you know, like in shape. You know, it's like before the McDonald's and all the fast food and all that stuff. You saw 200,000 people, you know, out there living together for 4 or 5 days. I don't know.
Helping each other out.
Exactly. You know, looking out for each other, but not wanting to leave. They could have left, but everyone was, you know, there during Woodstock, which was, you know, a disaster. They lost money, you know, all this stuff, but
crashed the fences.
Something that we talk about forever. Yeah. But, you know, then you have that.
Well, it's funny that they did it again.
Stuff. Yeah.
And the second one was worse than the first one. It became a Limp Bizkit. Have you seen that documentary?
Yeah, I think so.
It became a testosterone fueled asshole festival.
Yes.
It really did.
Really? Yeah.
And girls were, they don't talk about, there was a lot of rapes that happened. They talked about groping because they didn't want to talk about rape because if something happened and they got sued and they couldn't prove it, there was girls getting raped out there. It was pointless. And you can say anything you want. Limp Bizkit started it.
Right.
They started the trouble. And that's what scares me about stuff like that out in the desert when, you know, no security, no cops, no nothing.
Yeah.
You know, she even went on the news with a fake check to a fake company that didn't exist. And I was like,
to say that she paid for security, and then
it was a fake company. If you go look it up, look at this clip on the news or whatnot, you can still Google this. And she like holds up a check, and if you go Google Connie West holds up this check, and the check is to a fake company. Go look this company up and see if it exists. And she's like, "See, there's a check that's been given." It was the damnedest thing.
Because they contacted me. This woman at the Little Alien contacted me and said, "I don't know what we're going to do. We're 11 days out, and we don't know what we're doing." And I said, let me see if we can figure out what you guys have in place, and then we can decide whether or not we can even help you guys at this point.
Right.
And that became a sit down at a friend of mine's house with pizza and conversation. And this guy came in. His name was Tim. We called him Toupee Tim because he's wearing like, he made William Shatner's toupee look amazing.
Oh, it was so bad. It was such a bad
So
toupee.
he starts telling her to, don't talk to these guys. Don't speak to them. And we're like, whoa. He walked into my friend's house without being invited.
We don't even know who this person is, by the way. We've never met him.
I'm like, are you her attorney? And he said,
yes.
He goes, I'm her legal counsel. I go, no, that means attorney. Are you her attorney? He's like, Frank, I don't have to explain anything to you, but we cannot tell you what's going on out there. I'm like,
he met her the day prior. I wanted to point that out really quick. Met her the day prior.
Yeah, he was the director, he calls it out at Bonnie Springs. He had a broken down haunted house. He used to take advantage of people for, excuse me. Anyway, so after like the third time of like, we need to know what you have before we can tell you if we can jump in at the last minute and help you. And he said, well, we're not going to tell you that. And she said something like, well, how can we help you? And he said, excuse me, miss. I'm like, she's got a name, dude. And he said,
no, he was like, who's this girl?
He said, who are you? And I'm like, all right, that's it. Get the fuck out. Get out. Get out. I stood up. It's all in video. We videotaped the whole thing.
Well, and this is something interesting here with the whole, like that whole situation. We could have we had to go through a lawsuit and everything, right? Well, none of it would have ever happened if this one video would have been shown, which it's going to be shown on an upcoming Netflix docuseries with these guys. So basically, if our lawyers would have submitted anything for us, they didn't submit anything. They did not tell these guys when there was court, nothing. I mean, and we have email after email sending them videos, sending them all our evidence and everything. But unfortunately, our legal, they are in some trouble themselves. They had to get shut down and everything, and everybody's suing them for $1 million. Of course, that's who we get. And then they're using Connie West as a law firm that is going against us. They use her law firm for their bankruptcy, meaning they have all of my husband's information, everybody's information. They have
all our evidence,
everything. So they have everything, and nobody even tells us. And nobody tells us when there's court, nothing. I even have, videos of us talking to the attorneys and the attorneys saying, oh, yeah, you gave everything. But, we gave everything. And so we could have proven everything, all
There was
these
an open,
wild
it's like, we never did
stories were
business
not-
with this person, and I'm being sued for business disparagement.
Oh, so you're being sued for switching the venues? Is that what I'm getting at?
She basically said I enticed them to breach their contract that
They never had one. They never had a contract with this woman.
But because our lawyer our amazing lawyer, Matlock, decided that he wasn't going to turn anything in, and he's disbarred now, by the way. They basically started to, it pissed the judge off. Like, these guys aren't doing, they asked for our cell phones. I'm like,
they do that in murder.
This is a capital murder case. I mean, I'm not going to give up, but he didn't say the judge is ordering you to give your cell phone. He said they. So we're thinking, oh, the other side wants to see my cell phone.
We knew them a week.
Go F yourself. We're not giving us. What was the judge? Because because our attorney never filed any opposition to anything.
Wow.
So now we're being sanctioned, and we don't even know that.
She even put in court documents that my husband had surrounded her, like hostage-wise, outside.
I wouldn't let her leave after the meeting when I said, get the fuck out.
He's on
video. I'm going to tell her to get out and then keep her from leaving.
Well, Connie doesn't know this, but the video it was taken, and so it does prove that Frank never even left the table.
And never,
so it's like
for an hour.
we didn't know these people. Like, we knew her for days.
45
that was the
minutes.
first time we had ever met her, and I mean,
she sued me for $3 million.
Wow.
And won because our lawyers didn't tell us anything.
And won?
Yeah. Oh, no,
wow.
Don't worry. We're going. We got it. Don't worry.
And it's funny because the two kids, Maddie and this other kid, Brock Daly, that was, got in touch with them to do the rave.
Yeah.
They're the ones that talked to her. They're the ones that had the everything going together. There was 62 complaints. Me and my partner, John, were like the last 4. But because they assumed that we have more money, they
went
put
after you.
all of it on me.
She actually said that to the production company that was because
she's just suing me basically because she doesn't like me, and
Yeah.
John because she knows he has money. She said that to them.
Wow.
It's
I'm sorry. I didn't know this.
She had blamed.
That's why when you show that stuff, I'm like,
oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. That's okay.
Oh, no,
sorry,
it's truth is stranger than fiction when you look into this. And that's why Netflix is doing a docuseries on it, because it's so insane that we can prove everything we said is true. And then like, we were really victims of the government, really, and our lawyers, and so we are handling this legally. I want you to know
good.
We're not never doing this.
Another documentary producer says he has evidence that the opposition's attorney used to have a relationship
Allegedly.
with the judge.
Allegedly.
Oh, wow.
And our lawyers used her lawyers, law firm.
I was doomed from the start.
So you got called into something that you saved
To help.
help people, and then turn around and got.
And when she called
screwed.
me, I'm like, she said I have to put up my house. I had to borrow $60,000. What did I say to her?
Don't do it.
Do not put your
he said
house
walk
up
away.
for
He said walk away.
I go, you got to walk away. You got to walk away from this event. I wasn't planning an event.
The
The only reason I
county-
even did one is because my friends were nice enough to hook up with Bud Light and let us do one downtown. And
Right.
I mean, I'm pretty good at what I do, but they're pretty good at what they do too. So we collaborated and made the thing into a monster in 9 days.
Right.
Without anything other than a little help from Blink 182 and Life is Beautiful.
Yeah,
we promoted together.
Cross promoted.
So we pulled out all the stops and killed it.
Wow.
And we
well,
did,
I
by
was
the
there.
way,
It was
I want
really
to point
cool.
out we did not make a dime from
Yeah,
it.
we
We
didn't.
did
It
not
wasn't for
make
money.
any money.
No,
we did
money.
it because we felt like it was going to turn into a humanitarian disaster.
Yeah.
And that's
Good for
why
you.
that is why all of those people were out there. All the news people, like she was charging them $1,000.
I saw that. $1,000
how
for a
crazy is
parking
that, by the
spot.
way? And so just for them, and you could see there's like over 60 of them there. It
She
was
had to make
insane.
her money
Now,
back.
it's the
Oh no,
where
that's
we're-
not what she says though.
Where
Yeah.
we're parked right here, they could have parked just as close on BLM, Bureau of
Yeah.
Land Management property for free. But she told them they couldn't.
Right.
So she could nail them for $6,000 a pop for the news vans.
Yeah.
This is a professional scam artist.
No,
man.
it was crazy. This thing was nuts.
Well, it wasn't just $6,000. She there was like what 50, 60 of those things there. I mean, where'd the money go?
I saw that. I watched a little thing on YouTube about it. Now, before we wrap this up, I wanted to talk about something that I saw. I saw a clip. It was like maybe 2.5 minutes. Now, did you grow up? Was it you that grew up in some sort of home? What was that?
Oh, I was in a group home.
Okay, so yeah, I saw this thing, and it was your voice, right?
By the way,
was that you talking?
Yeah, that was him. So what happened with that is I had lived there, and I didn't understand like anything was illegally happening. I'm like, oh, that's what it was like 20 years ago, whatever, you know. And so I remember like talking to him about that.
Well, tell her why you were there. You got sent there when she was 16.
No, I was 15 when I went there. Yeah, no, well, close enough, whatever. No, I had, I mean, I don't know if we want to, like, I mean, it's fun. Okay.
No, it's too long.
Don't go into, something too long. But what I wanted, I just saw this.
Okay, so it's, the reason I was there is because I had gone to a hospital and I had
assaulted.
I mean, I had been drugged, raped, and assaulted, basically, kind of tortured.
Sorry.
It is what it is. But basically, I had some CPTSD and everything, and I was having like problems. So my parents didn't really want to deal with that because they're not like emotionally equipped to deal with that kind of stuff, you know. And they're not. I haven't talked to my dad even in like 16 years. My mom, very long time. So I don't really deal with anyone in my family. But anyways, I was put into this group home in Colorado at Excelsior Youth Center. And so I lived there for a few years. And so I was telling my husband randomly about like a story, and he's like, there's no way that happened, because it was so unbelievable. And I was like, oh no, I got my girlfriend, Nicole Segura, who I, lived there for years with. I got her on the phone. I was like, tell him right now what happened, and tell them right now, everything that happened, and details. I'm like, he knows you haven't talked to me, so like let him know what happened in the story. And so she like verbatim said exactly what I said, and so then he was like horrified. He's like, this should be on a documentary or something, like this should be talked about, that this kind of stuff happens in group homes where, you're seeing there was sex trafficking, there was abuse, there was rape, suicide.
A lot of the rabbit hole on state-funded boys and girls homes is horrifying, and nobody's talking about it. It's horrifying. We've had 60 other girls come forward saying, what happened. Parents, a lawyer, an attorney of a daughter, one of his daughter committed suicide, called us. People that found girls that committed suicide. And the place, I'm pretty sure, is haunted too. But we went and found, they left these girls' personal psychiatric records in the basement.
Oh yeah, that happened.
And just left them after they closed the school. So me and you could have walked in there and grabbed anybody's information, social security numbers, what was wrong with somebody, and
unreal.
Every
we
HIPAA
walked right
law,
down.
Yeah,
40 years of it.
Every HIPAA law on the planet. It was like a guide to breaking HIPAA laws. It was insane.
Right.
Oh, I contacted the attorney general. I mean, I contacted the news. I was like, this is bullshit. These girls, their identities could be stolen in 2 seconds because we walked in 2 seconds. Nothing stopped us from going in. We walked right in down there. There's Medicaid stuff. There's, all their records. Anyone could have went and got their records. Anybody. It was
on contracts from when they had Christmas parties that they would bring celebrities into, like Cyndi Lauper.
I saw their taxes. That was wild.
Lyle Lovett, right there. I mean, they were getting they were paying these people to help fund this place where they were torturing girls, where they were abusing children.
I'm sure they didn't know that though. Cyndi Lauper?
No, none of them would have ever known that. No, but it was scary to think that, because they wouldn't even invite the girls to those Christmas galas. They only invited rich people and donors.
Yeah, pretty much. We never got to go to those kind of parties. I mean, even
this is for clothes, new clothes for all the kids. No, they got Goodwill hand-me-downs. They're wearing boys' clothes there because if they got boys' clothes chopped up, it's insane.
Because they would have be able to.
Do you think this made you tougher?
Oh, duh. I mean, I've always been pretty tough.
Oh,
But,
yeah,
I mean,
I see that in you, but because you're just...
I didn't want to be there.
You're just like
so-
glossing over it. Like, I know you didn't want to
Well,
get
she
into
wasn't
it.
supposed to be there. That's for
They were all shocked I was there. Yeah,
that's for drugged kids,
Yeah.
kids with drug parents in jail, kids that run away. She had never broken the law.
No,
I've
you
never
were
been arrested,
you were
hand to
just
God.
you were there because your parents couldn't handle the emotional side and getting
They
you
didn't want
through to helping you or finding a way to help you.
I should
And
never
that's why
have
you
been
were
put
there,
That
and
was
I'm
for
sorry.
like the most abuse.
And
The place where I was for like really bad kids. Like I mean, there were fights every single day. There was abuse going on every single day. That was not going to help my PTSD.
Yeah, I'm
but
sorry.
It is what it is. But I went through a lot of therapy and everything, and I basically did not want to be there. So what I did was I was able to. Graduate by 17. I had a job at 15 there. I got a worker's permit. I was the janitor at the school, and then I got, another, I got in with Fazoli's. I was working at Fazoli's, and so I'd take 2 buses every day to get to work and back, and so I took care of myself.
At
I made sure.
17.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I want to know then, because I'm sitting across. I introduced you as one of the owners of West Coast Tattoo Parlors here in town.
She's
Okay,
the
and you're an
owner.
artist.
I'm technically the owner.
The
She's
owner.
the owner.
I bought
Okay.
I just clean the toilet.
Okay, so how does someone come from that? You were the janitor there. It was abusive there. How do you come from that to where you are right now? What is it? What is the thing that sticks out in your head that you go, this was the hurdle that I jumped, and this is how I became the person that I am right now?
I think my whole life I have been a very defiant human being. It's even in my court records that like I have a problem with authority. And so I never wanted anybody telling me what to do because I had it. I could take care of myself. I was going to, get where I needed to go. And so I was always like, in charge of me, and I felt like I did a good job even then. So the thing is, even though like I've had therapists tell me, oh, like, you should have been a drug addict hooker or something, for your background. And I was like, I didn't want to do that. Nobody's going to tell me what table I'm going to sit at. Nobody's going to tell me that this is what I'm going to be and that I'm doomed to have this. I'm leaving here and I'm going to do better and I'm going to have everything I want because I'm going to work my ass off and I'm going to get it and I'm going to figure out how to get it. So one thing that I am, since I was a little kid, I am very resourceful. So even though like I have limitations, I do have like, ADHD and I have dyslexia and I have, some stuff going on. So I know what my limits are. So I will figure out very quickly how I can get around whatever the limit that is so I can achieve whatever I'm looking to achieve.
That's amazing. Good for you. That's amazing.
But no, it's just drive and defiance. It's always been just defiance because nobody's going to tell me what I'm going to do, and I'm going to get what I want.
But
I love it.
somebody helped her figure out some of these things that were going on that she didn't believe.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he did.
You did? Good for you.
Well,
And that's having a good partner. With you, where was that moment that made you because you obviously are a good dad. You have your own identity. You know who you are. But it wasn't always like that because you were struggling. You already said, it was you having to hide who you wanted to try and be and figure out who you were. You had to hide it from the people that loved you or thought, that you loved, you thought they loved you, whatever it is. Because obviously you're a good dad. You make that a good point. You point that out. I've been around you 5 hours, 6 hours, and you talk about your family a lot. So what's the defining moment?
The only thing that I can say is never lose sight of what's really important in your life and never give up. No matter if the entire
100%.
world is standing against you. I quote my all-time biggest hero, Rob Zombie. Sometimes you have to live your life knowing that you're right and everybody else can go fuck themselves.
That's a good one.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And with you, I mean, you take on all these challenges all the time. Okay. And my show was called the Hero's Journey Podcast. And that's a circle. And the circle is because we walk into these, you step into adventure, right? And then when you step into adventure, you have to find somebody who's been there before, a mentor, somebody that you can look up to that can get you through it and learn how to walk into a dark cave, how to navigate this new space until it feels normal to you and you're comfortable, and then you take on new challenges. And with you, it seems like there are all these challenges, and it's not the normal, it's not the norm, it's not the 9-to-5 job. It's the, let me tackle this. You know, you went into this whole Storm Area 51 thing because they needed some guidance, right? They needed help. And you're somebody who could help out. Now I'm going to walk in and I'm going to help this. And then you took on like the show that Megan and Will and everybody was a part of, which was very cool, by the way. And you do those kinds of things.
You didn't even know you produced that.
I didn't know you produced that show. I'd been to it a couple times. I didn't know that you produced it. But like I said, I don't know. I can't define the moment that you and I actually met. But we just see each other. We're around. We take pictures. We talk. We catch up. But what is it? What drives you? What gets you going? And to know that we're different. We're different. As a tattoo artist, it's the same thing. You don't know if somebody's going to be calling and you're going to get a job today, tomorrow, that kind of thing.
Right.
It's like a hairdresser. Your phone has to ring. People have to know that my phone has to ring to get shows. I have to start booking out, whether it's tours or one-offs or weekends or whatever. Same with you. That's with you and all these different aspects of things that you create. You and I could come up with an idea right now and then run off and put it together and let's go find somebody to partner with us or whatever and put on shows or whatever. Yeah. Where does that come from?
That's an interesting question. When I was a kid, I felt like I was invisible, not because my parents didn't care. Me and my sister both adopted, but I had adopted into good parents. They cared. They wanted kids. You know, and anybody that says that those aren't your real parents are full of shit.
Right.
There's adopted kids out there that don't know anybody other than their parent, like me. And so. I grew up in Orange County, California, Huntington Beach, Fountain Valley, Newport Beach, all that stuff. People with my skin color when I was a kid were looked down on. I wasn't white. My parents didn't drive a Mercedes. We were poor. I mean, poor.
Right.
And I felt that I needed to become visible, and I did that with a sense of humor. I tried it with a sense of humor. And then I stopped at some point later on in my life. I can't remember when that was. I guess probably I used to fight a lot. I used to be in fights. And I stopped being afraid to fight. And I think that's what made me a good fighter, because I wasn't afraid anymore.
Right.
And I was afraid when I was a kid. Afraid to walk home from school by myself. Afraid to get called names. Afraid to tell the teacher I didn't understand something because I didn't want to get made fun of. So I wanted to, even though I say I was invisible, I made myself invisible. And one day I decided I didn't want to be invisible anymore. And I looked at people in a different way, and I thought, there's no difference between that guy on stage and me. And there's no difference between, I wanted to go to concerts, and then I wanted to go to concerts and sit in the front row. Then I wanted to see what's going on backstage, and then I wanted to figure out how they made money doing this, because I was booking bands back in the late 80s. At a place called the Omni in Oakland. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. John, remember Nady Wireless Systems?
Yeah.
The guy that started the original wireless guitar wireless monitor. He had a club in Oakland, California. It used to be an Italian dinner theater, and that's where Chris Isaac cut his teeth, and Primus, and we had everybody, Wasp and Limbo Maniacs and all these bands, and I met them all. Paul Stanley I met for the first time there. Ted Nugent and Damn Yankees did their first show there. So and these people were bigger than life until I met them. Then they weren't bigger than life. Then I was the guy sitting in backstage telling them what to do and where to go. And I've always had a good relationship with musicians. And I stopped giving a shit what people thought. I don't care what you think of me. I don't care. Once you, how liberating is it for, I don't know for a musician, because you want people to buy your albums, you want people to like you want to look good on stage. I'm like the opposite. I don't care if you like me anymore. I don't care if you like what I'm wearing. I don't care. What I want to do is if we're friends, and that's what made promotions easy for me. But I'd stopped wanting to be invisible. I don't mean ego-wise. I mean, because that's their, you want to be a rock star. Well, who doesn't?
Right.
But I knew that wasn't realistic. So the next best thing to be was these guys' friend, and these guys, and people will tell you to this day, Janie Lane, we talked about Janie the other day. Janie Lane should not have died alone. I have a million reasons to tell you why. We'll talk about that sometime. Yeah. But also to be friends with these guys, knowing that I don't care how many thousands and millions of albums they sell. If they give me an attitude, I give it right back to them. I don't
really
care.
does.
I was known for being I was the manager killer. If manager says, well, if they don't get this, then we're not going to perform. Then get the fuck out. Get out. Get out right now. Okay? Right. Don't expect to get paid. And go ahead and tell the band that you pissed me off and you can't play tonight. Go ahead and tell them. Ask the guys from LA Guns. They'll tell you. Guys from Great White will tell you. I mean, I've been through all this.
Alex Ross even was telling me some of your stories.
Oh, yeah, me and Kevin DeBro didn't like each other too much. Great musician, but we weren't friends. Anyway, so there is a way to get to where you want to be, but you have to always be willing to take a chance. A lot of people don't want to take a chance. They're in their comfort zone. Oh, get out of your comfort zone. I'm not saying that. That's bullshit. What I'm saying is, there's a lot of opportunities out there, and the guys that take the opportunities are the guys that do the best. And I've failed a billion times.
Yeah.
I've had to give back money to people at the door because a show got canceled. It's humbling.
Right.
To give cash back because your show tanked or whatever. It's hard. We have to pull money out of your own account to cover bands so that to make sure they get paid, but they always get paid. So I decided at one point I'm going to stay friends with these guys and forget and when you say promoter, not anymore. I mean, I'm a special events guy.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. I was waiting for you to correct me. I just didn't know how to put it. That's
There's
awesome.
a lot of people, a few people out in town that do it. There's a couple of people that do it really well. There's a few that do it really badly, and there's some of them that have ridden my coattails because back in the '90s, when we were doing this, after I left the Palette, I almost said it out loud. The strip club. I kind of set the bar for everybody. So when LA Guns came to town, they didn't stay at the Motel 6 anymore. They stayed in a suite, and I got them 4 of them at the Monte Carlo,
right,
or whatever. And they remembered that. We didn't go out to dinner. I'd have a restaurant provide a dinner for them as long as they came in. Being, guys at Studio 54 at MGM, the bigger strip clubs, the Pure nightclub at Caesars. I mean, I used to walk long-haired rockers into that place, and they got all the attention, even though it was a dance club. These guys understood, and I took care of them, and a lot of them we're still friends with. So yeah, it's I didn't want to not being invisible. Don't be invisible, man.
There you go.
Don't fucking be invisible because nobody's going to remember that.
That's good advice. That's great advice. Do you have any questions there, Chase, for our guest today? I know that I put you on the spot. I do this to him every. He does need to sing.
Give us a line.
I suppose I could probably give you guys a line because I didn't think of any questions.
It ruined my life if you didn't.
Who's your favorite rock vocalist?
Does Meatloaf count?
Meatloaf counts.
I feel like Meatloaf counts.
For sure,
counts.
Meatloaf counts.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Meatloaf.
What about guys
Meatloaf's
like
awesome.
Jeff Tate?
Jeff Tate. What band's Jeff Tate from?
Queensryche.
Queensryche.
I love Queensryche.
Yeah.
I was a big Iron Maiden guy when I was young.
Another one.
That was me.
Ronnie
right
James
here.
Dio.
Yeah. So Dio
guy.
and Jeff Tate. Jeff Tate, right?
Yeah.
One night I was waiting tables at Prosecco Restaurant in Toluca Lake. That's where I was at for a very long time. And I was waiting on the both of them and Dio's wife as well.
Wendy.
Yep. And so I have a napkin that I never did this, but I was like, Queensryche, that song, Silent Lucidity, I'm like, that is amazing. And they had me sing for them at the table.
Did you really?
I did.
Really?
I did. But they both signed this napkin to me, Dio and Jeff Tate, and so it was really
Before
cool.
you got here, there was a concert, one of the last concerts at what that's now the not the Hard Rock, Planet Hollywood. What was the Aladdin? It was the Aladdin. Before that was Iron Maiden, Queensryche, and Rob Halford.
Oh wow!
Not Judas Priest, Judas Priest.
Just Rob Halford, yeah.
But Halford, yeah. And he was
That's
the
cool.
opening. He was the opener.
Wow.
And he came out with, I mean, Rob Halford's, but Jeff Tate, there's something about that guy that's,
Yeah, he's
Next
phenomenal. But Meatloaf, great guy. He's a great guy, dude. He was awesome. I got to hang out with him one night. There was an opening with Jeff Supon's, one of my good friends, and he had an opening night of his restaurant, and my record was on the wall next to Meatloaf's album as well. And so Meatloaf and I are standing there going, I'm like, dude, my album's on the wall right next to yours, which was really cool. I had the chance to share a moment. So when I found out that you were a big fan of him a while back,
may he rest in peace.
Exactly.
You know, his daughter is married to Scott Ian from Anthrax.
Oh, wow.
How weird is that?
That's great.
Talk about totally different kinds of generations of music. But
Yeah.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
My producer's producing them right now, Anthrax. So give us a little. You just got back from Austria. You were just singing some opera. I know it sucks as a singer to have to just cold sing.
Yeah, here.
Give me a little something.
This is from this is a spiritual that I sang well. We'll just give you the end.
Okay.
I gotta pay before the judgment. I don't know, something like that. Opera always feels really, really weird on a microphone.
Music,
Yeah, and I don't know, it feels so dry in here.
It's built for venues with
Acoustics.
hallways.
Yeah, it is. It
Big
is.
acoustics. So,
anyways,
So I want to thank you guys because I could talk forever. We could get into all kinds of things, but it was an honor to get tattooed by you. And when this heals, I'll show more of it. I did send him a clip, and it's tough to see because it's
I'll give you some zoom
there
action.
you go.
Hold on, let's see.
But it's all scabbed up right
You
now.
have
I was gonna say it's scabbed.
you have to
right?
move
It's
it
all
up.
scabbed and
It still looks good though, even though it's scabbing.
yeah.
Don't pick
It looks
at
real
it.
good.
Don't be
Don't do
tempted.
that peeling phase.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't tempt. You're gonna get tempted. It's
Oh,
gonna
I-
itch.
Trust me, I won't touch it. But Valerie, thank you so much. Thanks for being vulnerable, but also you are a badass bitch, and I love it.
Thank you.
And so
You're half right.
When
I get a little, I own it. I know I'm a bit of a bitch sometimes.
No, I'm teasing. You are bad though. I love it. And when I saw that thing on you, it broke my heart to know that you actually went through that. But it explained a lot to me a little bit.
Did it?
Yeah, like you just don't take anything from anyone, and you are where you are because you're not afraid to stand up and say whatever's on your mind. Mm-hmm. And this is who I am. And I love that. That's why I kept tapping, his shoulder and saying, dude, I love her.
Oh,
So
yeah, because I
that
was telling you, I was probably telling you, what was I was talking about either how we met or I was talking, maybe my sister's wedding.
It was a wedding. It was a lot of jail and cops showing up at a wedding and all kinds of stuff.
Oh,
but
yeah,
it was so much.
cops
It was
like to
it
show
was
up
so
at the
much fun.
weddings.
Yeah.
If you're related to me, they might come. It doesn't.
Also, we talked a little bit about October 1st, and we'll warm up to it. But let's do something for your show with all your listeners for any commemorative tattoo for the Vegas event. We'll come up with something together. But if they come down and get a commemorative, whether that be the date or a Vegas Strong or something like that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah.
When you've heard
October
a million
is coming
times,
up.
never
Come on.
forget. This town needs to never forget that.
Never. And it's the one thing that you and I talked about this
Yeah.
when I was getting a tattoo, that day was horrible. This town came together, and it's a lot of people that are not from here.
Yeah.
You're from Alabama. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? This is home. I'm from Oregon, of all places, way of Hollywood. And we all came together. There were people walking up to me at the grocery store. You know how like people look down, especially like guys like you and me, they look at us and they just want to avoid us, you know?
Right.
And, but they were looking me in the eye. And if they recognized me from that night, they, you know, either shook my hand and thanked me or said they were, you know, sorry, it went through, whatever. But we came together and I see those stickers and my girl, Nicole, wants to get the date behind her ear. She doesn't want something. She doesn't want something that, you know, that she has to look at and be reminded of.
No,
but
totally.
but that night brought us together. That's how we met. She's a person that I grabbed. That, you know,
I remember when you were on the phone with us like at 2:00 in the morning or something, right?
Yeah.
There's people.
He called me.
There's people out there.
I was right there.
There's people out there that didn't have that experience like you did.
Right.
That probably haven't ever really talked to anybody about it the way that you've talked about it.
Right.
They didn't do something heroic, even though they survived. They didn't grab people and bring them into containers, even though they might have held somebody that fell get up or handed a T-shirt off or something like that. They're all heroes. Right. Everybody that was there, because when a hero doesn't mean you had to save somebody. Heroes mean you had to do something extraordinary. And that night, if you survived, it was extraordinary. Yeah. And if you don't like tattoos, too bad. But that's something that I would strongly recommend commemorating your time with and your experience with that.
Yeah, it's a bond. When I see somebody with a tattoo, from the day I walk up and give them a hug, shake their hand, and they're a total stranger. Yeah, but it's like I have a connection to them. You know,
this town
it's not the same
was full
experience.
of heroes. That
absolutely.
Yeah. Oh gosh,
Frankie and I stopped working for like a month. Like we were every single day, like taking people to the airport. We were bringing them food. We were sneaking food into the hospitals because the hospitals didn't want them to have, free food.
It's hospital food.
Yeah. Who did that? I mean, that was such shit that they did that to people.
I don't know,
but we did sneak food in a lot.
Amazing.
Like we were very, very big on sneaking stuff in there that we shouldn't have done. And we were bringing them clothes. We were getting people like meet and greets.
Those people came to town. Some of them didn't have clothes.
No,
they didn't have a change of clothes.
Exactly.
They didn't have toothpaste and toothbrushes, and
their stuff is in their hotel room, or just they flew in for the show and they're going home. I'll say this once. I've talked about this story many, many times, but there was a young man, two guys that came up to me that I took a picture with moments before everything went down, and one of them was shot and killed instantly right behind me. I went and we did on the October 5th, we did a charity show. On October 6th, we did a charity show. On October 16th, we did a show. And then on November 4th, we did a charity show. But on the 16th, we were in Alaska. And this young man walks up to me, big dude, and he said, he was there. He wanted to thank me for doing what I did for his friend. And then I'm like, I'm sorry to meet you like this. He goes, oh no, we met. And it was like the walls moved. And I'm like went white as a ghost, because it was his friend that I took a picture with, the two of them. And I was there. We did a sold out show, raised money for two fallen Alaskans that night who had lost their lives, and raised $16,000 for their funerals. But there's 22,000 people there, and I meet them moments before this happened. And then I get a call 3,000 miles away to do a show. And I go out there, and I'm having dinner with the mom the night before, holding her hand, hearing about her son, not knowing that I was one of the last people that he actually met before all this happened. So you just never know. And life is short. Love your family, love the people around you, be present, be in the moment. Like this was my favorite thing today, period. I appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to come here and be with me.
Absolutely.
Sit down and share your stories. I know it's nerve-wracking to sit here and talk on a mic. I mean, you and I were very honest. you're like, dude, I'm nervous. I'm like, it's okay. We're just sitting around talking. And hopefully somehow, some way we connected with somebody out there listening or watching on YouTube, Spotify. Spotify has video now, whatever. You know, maybe somebody out there is going, I can sing opera. I've always wanted to sing opera. So same kind of thing. What all these little nuggets of whatever it is, what you've gone through, group home, what you went through, what you call a cult, it just felt like that.
Right.
But in reality, it wasn't. But to a kid, it was.
Right.
The shit that you went through, the stuff trying to help somebody and then turn around and get sued, and all you're trying to do is help people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're
Especially
trying to.
when the county, by the way, I want to point this out, the county is who paid for it, because everybody saw it's like, hey, move this, like, let's go this way for safety.
So I'm
the
sorry.
The county paid for it, and she still sued us for it. It's crazy.
Yeah, and somebody had to spearhead it.
She'll never see a dime.
Yeah, don't
from
worry.
me.
Yeah,
She'll never
file
see a
bankruptcy
dollar.
if you have to.
Well, we're dealing. Listen, we had to get another lawyer. We're
Okay,
dealing with
good.
it.
I just don't
we didn't
want
know
people to
anything was
ever,
happening.
and this is a bad thing to say to some people, but you understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying. This is what happened on October 1st is going to happen again. It's going to happen again because we live in a different day and age now where we think that our problems can be solved by ending them physically. But you can't end us if we don't allow you to.
Right.
No matter how many people you kill. So
That's why I got on stage.
Yeah.
On the 5th, and then on the 6th, and the 16th, and the 4th. Ben was terrified. His experience of that night was the exact opposite of mine.
yeah.
And so if we sat here and talked about it, he would change the subject. His experience was different than mine. And same with most people. There was all these experiences. And you can't let somebody take that away from you. You can't be worried about going to the grocery store or going to anywhere, doing, getting on my motorcycle and riding. I got Chase. He just got his license and he's into riding. And, the S&P did up his head, and he's probably going to go see you guys about getting a tattoo when this is over.
Oh, you're a tough guy now, huh?
Because that's
something like that.
That's what I'm saying is that he's coming into he's figuring out who he is.
yeah.
And I remember being 25 years old and going, yeah, this is who I am. This is who I want to be. And you can't be afraid to do that. And that's what I'm hoping that each and every one, somebody out there listening hears that and hears your stories.
You can never let the terror win. You
can't.
You have to keep living every day. You have to keep living. You have to keep going.
Right.
And
You hear that a lot, because people, but the people that actually, went through it, it's hard to think. It's a hard thing to say to them. It's not so much that you have to, keep living, but you can't curl up and die. You can't die.
No.
That was what those people did, so that the rest of us didn't. And we have to live, man. We have to be the guys that show you that nothing's ever going to take anything away from us if we don't let it. I don't want to get political about it, but this is a product of what this country's kind of allowed. And
Right.
It's not guns and it's not firearms. It's a mental state that we're in. And we got to start helping each other instead of trying to tear each other apart all the time. If that doesn't happen soon, we're in a lot of trouble.
Agreed.
And stuff like this, listen to somebody, listen to their story. You're going to go, shit, my life is not that bad. There is hope.
Yeah.
Give them a little bit of hope is worth so much more than a whole lot of whining and a whole lot of hatred and a whole lot of hell.
Yeah.
Just a little hope.
Agreed.
Even every day I have to wake up and tell myself it's going to be okay. I'm going to be able to figure it out. I'm going to be able to, it's just talking yourself into it. You have to convince yourself you can do whatever you are wanting to do. If you don't believe it, then how could you ever achieve it?
Agreed.
And nobody's going to believe you if you don't believe
Yeah, if you don't
yourself.
believe in yourself, no one's going to believe in you.
We're going to leave it on that. And this has probably turned into a two-parter now. So I'm gonna wrap this up here, you guys. Again, thank you.
Yeah.
Frankie D, Valerie Demaggio. I love that for you.
Oh, thank
little
you.
Joe DiMaggio's cousin over there. And my boy Rob, thank you, bud.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
Honor's all mine.
Thank you. Thank you.
for
And
having us.
no, thank you for being a part of this. I want to shout out to the Rock Rage Radio listeners out there. As they say, we are everywhere. And JPS Computers, thank you so much. S&P Inc. And if you want to go get a tattoo right here in Las Vegas, there's 2 locations, right? 2 locations. West Coast Tattoo Parlor. There's a location with Rob, which is right over there.
South Las Vegas Boulevard. We're right by the Antique Mall.
Yeah.
And then we have then we have another location on Rainbow Boulevard across from the hospital.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
Yep.
Very cool. 2 locations, West Coast Tattoo Parlor. Go get your ink on. And thank you guys so much. Again, go after your dreams. Go after whatever it is that makes you happy. Get up in the morning, just like Valerie said, and what can I do today to make today better? All right. I'm Brian Hopkins. That's Chase the Voice, and this is a Hero's Journey podcast.
Dream, and I believe it's coming around to me.